was your birthday? What did you do to celebrate your last birthday? A few weeks ago, we celebrated the birthday of the church and a time that we call Pentecost. 10 days after Jesus went back to heaven, God sends another helper down to earth. So Jesus has gone up and a helper is coming down. Let's read that story. The helper arrives. Jesus told his friends to wait in Jerusalem, to wait for the helper he'd promised to send them. So they waited. They waited and they prayed for days. And while they waited, the streets of Jerusalem filled up with people from every land. People from the north and from the south, from the east and from the west. People from all over the world who came together to celebrate the feast of Pentecost. Jesus' friends were in an upstairs room when suddenly something surprising happened. They heard a wind blow, harder than the fiercest storm, but nothing was blown about. Then they heard the flickering of flames, and they watched tongues of fire lick and lap and land on their heads, but there wasn't a smell of burning, and nobody was hurt. And then the helper came, the Holy Spirit, and he filled them with the presence and the power of God. And what they heard next was talking, strange words pouring out of each and every mouth. So they rushed outside, eager to tell the crowd what had happened. And now, suddenly, everyone could understand. People from the north and from the south, people from the east and from the west, people from all around the world. And for now, Jesus' friends were able to speak in foreign languages, languages that they'd never learned, all because of God's Holy Spirit. What better way to tell the world about Jesus? So that's what it's all about, said a man from Spain. That's amazing, said a woman from Africa. Tell me again, said a man from France. But there were others who thought Jesus' friends were just talking nonsense. These men are drunk, one man said. It's just a load of gibberish. And then Peter stood up. Peter, who'd been with Jesus from the start. Peter, the fisherman. Peter, who'd never made a speech in his life. Listen, everybody, he shouted. We're not full of wine. We're filled with something else. God's own Holy Spirit. Many years ago, a prophet said that this would happen, that God would send his Spirit and help not just the people like prophets and kings, but everybody. That's what's happened to us today. And it has happened because Jesus, who died on a cross, was brought back to life by God himself and now sits beside God in heaven. It was Jesus who sent this wonderful gift to us. Jesus, the special one we've been waiting for all these years. Jesus, who you put to death. The people were sorry that they'd done that to Jesus. What can we do? They cried. Tell God you're sorry, said Peter. Let him wash away all the bad things that you have done. And you will receive the Holy Spirit too. So that's what the people did. 3,000 of them. They told God they were sorry. They were baptized and they were filled with God's Holy Spirit. People from the north and from the south, people from the east and from the west, people from all over the world. Let's spend a bit of time being creative and making some things that will remind us of that story. For the final session, you will need a blanket. But if you haven't got a blanket, you could use a duvet or a towel. See you in a bit. Bye! For this craft, you'll need the template that you can either find in the files section on our Facebook page or in the description below.